Hello, beloved souls. Welcome to this thing or place or time that we call satsang. I'm told the word means a gathering of truth. The sacred kind of personal truth expressed as honesty, it's not something that we're making. There are many truths that are made, but we don't come here for made truths. For me, it's more about opening, making space for truth to arise. And that's what happens here. We don't know what's going to happen any given day, any given moment at these gatherings, but we clear the space. We open our hearts and we wait patiently for something beautiful, for something true, for something that's always here, but for the rest of our day or most of our life, we're too busy. That's why this is important. We have nothing else to do here. We just sit and allow. And we can drop the act. The part that we play of being a person with a role and responsibilities. Why do we act? Why do we play the actor, the actress? For me, it was fear. Fear of who I am. Because to me, that was the scariest thing to be myself. Whereas if I played a part, if I put on an act, it was sort of a shield of protection. It wasn't everything that meant something to me. It was once or twice removed. Almost a distraction for people who are a threat or something. The life as a threat. That's how I perceived it. So I made these pretend bogeys so that if life crushed those things, I would still be safe. I see now that that was a horrible mistake. A horrible mistake that I think is unfortunately very common. And I spent so much time acting, playing a role to save myself from getting hurt, that I actually miraculously forgot who the real me was. I lost the things that I truly cared about. They didn't go anywhere. It was just I had pretended for so long that they were something else. I just really confused myself. Deeply, deeply confused myself. Because I chose to start playing this game. And this is the game of the mundane world, as Ed calls it. Where everything is just a distraction. Everyone we talk to is pretending, acting, playing a role. And it seems that none of us trust each other. To accept and to love who we truly are. But the game isn't worth it. That game is not worth it. The pain of being crushed by actually showing who you really are is infinitely better than lying to yourself and to everybody else. Many people in this state of acting to distract from their own chess pieces. Um, they point fingers. I'm sure we've all done this. We point fingers at everyone else, at everything else. And we're constantly pointing fingers at the world because we're too afraid to look at ourselves. There will always be somebody or something to point a finger at. Always. And if there isn't, we'll make one up. But it doesn't help. It never solves anything. Until we point the finger at ourselves. And not in a judgmental or aggressive or angry way. Not to beat ourselves up. just to look at our role in the thing that is bothering us. And I can't really tell you don't point fingers at other people or stay with yourself and work through your own role that you're playing. Because it doesn't really work that way. When the time is right, no one will have to tell you. You'll just begin to be almost sickened by this game, this game of pretending that everyone plays, that we are playing. You'll just get sick of it. And you'll start to crave the simplicity of who you are, just as you are, without all the strings attached, without all the fake things, distractions, without all the armor and the protection. Just bare, naked, raw you. But that desire has to come from within you, because it takes an incredible amount of courage to be yourself. If you're anything like me, there's nothing scarier to be than who you are. And how do we be who we are? That is the question. answers to that question. But I would say a good start is to relax. Just relax. Even this can be hard to do. A lot of people have said to me when I'm very relaxed that I look very sad. And I tell them that's just the way my face is. So piss off. It seems when you first start relaxing and just being yourself, when you first drop the charade, in my personal experience, everything in my life pushed me to return to my charade. Even the people that cared about me the most, they were afraid because I changed. They were used to my act that they were used to my role that I was playing. And the comments that people make they don't seem hurtful when they're made, but they're subtle. They're very subtle little tugs and pushes. That can make us feel like we need to be somebody else. It may almost feel like a battle. But we have to have some kind of conviction or confidence that we deserve this place in the universe. We deserve this body. We are worthy of resting in our own skin. And we are allowed to be ourselves, even if that doesn't agree with everybody. That's the hard stage. But then there's this sincerity that grows. And all of us have experienced this sincerity, usually the presence of death, whether it's our own or someone close to us, brings about this sincerity. The charade drops. We can't act anymore. We don't have time to think through and protect ourselves because something has pierced us right to the soul, right to our core. Penetrated our armor, breached our castle walls. If you can remember these times, these moments when you were bare, you can invoke them. You can invoke that feeling. Because acting takes a lot of energy. Pretending takes a lot of energy. Every day of our lives, every person we meet, I'm not saying that we should all be self-centered and only care about ourselves. But when we nourish ourselves, when we connect deeply to who we are without the act, without the charade, all of our inherent talents and passions and personality traits, attributes and elements of all kinds begin to flourish because we've given them space, we've given them passage to do so. What we don't recognize when we build this wall around our heart or our soul or the things we care most about, we may be blocking things from coming in, but we're also blocking a lot of things from getting out. It makes us a shell of a person. that safety isn't worth it. It's not life. Let's be afraid together. Let's be lost together. Let's accidentally drop the hearts that people have given to us and pick them up and dust them off and apologize and learn how to love each other together. Because how's anybody ever gonna learn if we're all playing a game, if we're all lying to each other to protect ourselves? How are we ever gonna learn how to hold somebody else's heart if no one ever gives us their heart? How are we ever gonna learn to give our heart to somebody else if we don't trust anybody? It's a small and lonely life inside of a castle alone, with whatever fortune we've amassed. It's just not worth it. And the more courage we can find to be ourselves and to be sincere, to be honest with ourselves and others, we find that the phone rings. We find that these things, these incredible, beautiful, precious things inside of our heart begin to reach out into the world on their own. And we don't walk through our life feeling like nobody sees us or nobody gets us, nobody understands us. For years I wondered how how I could show people who I was, how I could show people the deepest part of my heart. And it turned out to be quite simple. Just relax, be yourself. And you might have to deal with a lot of shit that you piled on top of your heart, on top of the most precious depth of you. But don't run away from that. There's a great freedom on the other side of all of those things. And then the depth of you that felt so far away from the rest of the world begins to shine out, radiate from you. People can feel it, and see it, and hear it. And suddenly, what was hidden so deeply within you is now free to flow out of you. And the deepest place within you becomes no different than the world around you, because you are no longer hiding your treasure, your wealth, your richness, but you're sharing it, and you're radiating it like a sun. You're lighting up a whole solar system, a whole universe, the universe that you are the center of, as a sweet little drop of sentience. And you have no more fingers to point. You still have fingers, though, so don't worry about that. I sincerely love you and thank you for basking in my heart pouring